In 2025, the heavens are preparing a unique event, a rare and promising aspect to Jupiter Quincelheron, which astrologers call the millionaire aspect, will be activated. In May this year will open a period of exceptional opportunities, when each sign of the zodiac, and especially Pisces, will get a chance to achieve financial prosperity, which before could only dream of. It is not just about luck, but about a real opportunity to gain wealth, to get rid of financial difficulties forever, to get out of poverty and radically change your life. The period of rigid selection begins, and only the most prepared will be able to use the gifts of fate. All begins on May 12th, the day of the full moon in Scorpio. For Pisces, this time marks the beginning of a deep inner transformation. It is not external success that comes to the forefront, but the realization of one's own value. You can no longer cling to outdated patterns of behavior, weakness, self-sacrifice, the habit of suffering for the sake of others. Everything that used to seem the norm no longer works. There is a complete reassessment of values. Pisces no longer recognize the previous restrictions, there is a clear sense of, I am worthy of more. And this is manifested not only in words, but also in actions. Doubts are a thing of the past, giving way to inner strength. Even the softest and modest representatives of this sign begin to surprise others with their confidence and directness, sometimes even shocking them. At this time, the 2nd and 10th houses of the horoscope, responsible for self-esteem, finances and social realization, are of particular importance. Pisces no longer hide in the shadows, they declare themselves to the world. There is an acute need to be heard, recognized and respected. Behavior changes dramatically, silence is replaced by active actions. There is no more fear of conflict. Those who used to agree to uncomfortable terms now give ultimatums. The fear of loss is disappearing, and this is the first step toward a golden time. However, to enter this period of prosperity will not work if inside still lives the habit of sacrificing yourself for the sake of others. It is necessary to get rid of excessive pity for others, and this is the first condition that the universe sets. May ends with a significant astrological event. The biquintal between Jupiter and Pluto forms on May 30th, which opens new horizons of self-knowledge. During this period, life is especially sensitive to signaling areas where we feel stuck, where we are not simply discontent, but a clear rejection of the circumstances that are pulling us down. Representatives of the sign of Pisces are not inclined to patch up the dilapidated. Their soul longs for release from unpromising work, poisonous relationships and the burden of financial obligations. At this point, activate the so-called millionaire's point, giving a powerful impetus to change the professional path, life direction and even the environment. People who have been patient for years suddenly decide to change, driven not by a momentary whim, but by the instinct of self-preservation. Those who are burdened with loans and debts, visit the epiphany of ways to pay them off as quickly and as painlessly as possible. New sources of income open up or unexpected offers arrive. The thought crystallizes in the mind, enough. With this realization comes the readiness to act. In women at this time activate the 6th and 8th houses of the horoscope, and dreams turn from a simple rest in the channels that transmit important messages. In dreams can be images of relatives, slip hints of hidden conflicts that prevent self-realization. This is especially true of family ties, relationships with mother, spouse and children. Pisces are not what they used to be. Life trials have hardened their spirit, and now they do not intend to put up with their former version. All energy is directed to escape to a place where you do not have to desperately fight for respect and basic survival. June 6th is marked by an important astrological event. Venus, the planet of love and prosperity, transits into the sign of Taurus. This transit has a profound effect on Pisces, known for its high sensitivity and empathy, forcing them to rethink their relationship with the material world. Pisces, often inclined to see money as a source of problems and contradictions, suddenly realize that financial well-being is not something reprehensible, and the protection of their own interests is not a manifestation of selfishness, but a necessary measure. Typical for Pisces' worldview, characterized by a willingness to share and give in, ceases to be relevant. They begin to see that unlimited generosity does not bring the desired satisfaction, but, on the contrary, leads to the depletion of resources, especially when it is abused by those who are used to parasitize on the kindness of others. During this period, the 3rd, 8th and 11th houses of the horoscope are activated, which brings to the surface issues related to the immediate environment, the establishment of personal boundaries and energy exchange. Pisces no longer wants to play the role of an inexhaustible source of resources for others. Their former modesty and taciturnity are transformed into calm confidence and determination. At the same time, they avoid open conflicts, preferring to gently but definitively interrupt destructive ties. One of the main mistakes inherent in Pisces is a subconscious desire to please everyone, to be comfortable and constantly save others. However, Venus in Taurus sends them a clear message: true value lies not in the amount given, but in the degree of respect for themselves and their resources. Those who have long held on to burdensome familial ties or karmic relationships will suddenly realize that the guilt they have been feeling was just an ingrained habit. It is time to let go of this burden and begin to build a life based on the principles of self-love and respect for one's own boundaries. When Saturn occupies a position in the constellation of Pisces, this celestial combination endows people with peculiar but fair instructions of fate. It brings order to the inherent chaos of Pisces, establishing clear rules of the game. If there is a desire for success, you must put your financial destiny in order. Enough to complain that money is not for you, or that you are not given the art of sales. And the point is not to engage in trade. The main thing is to appreciate your labor and do not allow it to depreciate. In such a period can open hidden sources of income, often related to esotericism, psychology, or creativity. This becomes a point of realization for Pisces, whose nature and without that gravitates to intangible spheres. Those who previously practiced fortune-telling at cards for friends begin to charge for their services. Writers of poetry receive offers to collaborate on texts. Everything happens as if unnoticed, almost by chance, but Pisces feels that this is not just a coincidence, but a sign from above. The mechanism of energetic self-defense is activated. The desire to share the joy of achievement begins to be perceived as a mistake. Those who continue to rant about their plans and share intuitive insights, quickly lose results. Pisces, who have learned to keep their mouths shut, begin the ascent to success. The manifestations of the millionaire aspect are becoming more and more visible. However, it is not about sudden enrichment, but about a clear inner awareness of their potential and determination not to waste it. June 18th is marked by a hard aspect between Jupiter and Neptune, which is a moment of truth for Pisces, when it is no longer possible to hide behind a shroud of self-deception. Neptune, as the key ruler of the Pisces constellation, is in confrontation with Jupiter, the planet symbolizing growth and expanding horizons. This is not just a gentle touch of spirituality, but rather a painful clash with reality, where illusions are shattered by harsh realities. Pisces feels increasing pressure from the outside, demanding clarity, concrete action, and the rejection of empty promises. From words and fantasies, it is time to move on to decisive steps. The main problem with typical Pisces is their belief that everything will work itself out, especially if you remain a good person. However, this strategy stops working during the quadrature, and any attempts to deceive themselves lead to tangible losses in the financial sphere, personal relationships, and even in health. Those who are used to living in a world of dreams and fantasies are faced with a harsh and unforgiving reality. During this period, the 5th and 12th houses of the horoscope are especially active, bringing to the surface the issues of purpose, creative self-realization, and revealing hidden detractors. People with the ascendant in Pisces experience double pressure, both internal and external, and can no longer put up with an environment where they are underestimated. Envious people come to the surface, and it is not abstract figures, but quite specific acquaintances, colleagues, and even, unfortunately, close people. A special danger are those who skillfully disguise themselves as friends, especially unmarried women who have long listened to the revelations of Pisces, but secretly competing with them. Previously, Pisces could intuitively sense this but chose to ignore it. Now it is time to listen to themselves, and it is no longer a matter of esotericism, but of survival. Jupiter activating the house of career is like saying, you have potential, but you're surrounded by people who don't benefit from your growth. Those who relied on work for stability suddenly realize that they have simply been used. And those who have been patient in a relationship for a long time, hoping for change, get a clear signal that they need to break the cycle immediately. The rose-colored glasses are falling off, and for the first time this does not cause pain. Pisces is not suffering, but observing from the sidelines, with a cold and clear realization, I don't want to be a lifeguard anymore. My talents, sensitivity, and intuition should not be in the service of someone else's comfort. People with Sun in Pisces experience a deeper inner transformation, realizing the need to stop being good for others. This realization is global in nature, allowing them to clearly define their role and responsibility for their own lives rather than other people's expectations. This internal rejection of their former role may not be immediately noticeable to those around them. Whereas Pisces with an ascendant demonstrates a change in their behavior immediately. They begin not just to change internally, but show it outwardly, more decisively and visibly, sometimes even flamboyantly and ostentatiously. Their refusal of unnecessary contacts and setting boundaries becomes obvious to others. They become less afraid of conflicts, say no without hesitation and defend their personal space with more confidence and sometimes even with undisguised joy. July 4th is marked by the beginning of Neptune retrograde motion, which is a harbinger of favorable changes. During this period, the Pisces sign begins to realize how the environment affects them. The ruling planet indicates that success is impossible without healthy relationships, free of toxic ties that block positive change. Pisces is now beginning to realize how long they have been in an environment that has hindered their development and, most importantly, prevented the cleansing of karma, without which further advancement is impossible. Neptune retrograde contributes to the cleansing of the aura, discarding all unnecessary things and getting rid of empty hopes. Pisces with developed empathy realize that they cannot be happy surrounded by negativity. So what happens when Pisces clears their living space? A unique opportunity opens up to build a happy life not only in material terms, but also in the personal sphere, where they are often prone to self-sacrifice. Now they have a chance to change relations with children, partners and relatives. If they used to find excuses for conflicts or overly worried about other people's problems, they are now getting rid of these habits. The simple realization that their life should not be a dumping ground for other people's emotions becomes the starting point to finding the inner peace they have been dreaming of for so long. This process can be compared to the beginning of a bright streak in life. The ability to find joy even in small things is the key to cleansing karma and improving the aura. Pisces begins to realize that their energy is not limitless, and it should be directed to maintain internal harmony, not to constantly solve other people's problems. There comes a significant day, July 19th, when Jupiter enters Quincelheron, activating the so-called millionaire aspect. For representatives of the sign of Pisces, this time can be marked by tangible changes, affecting not only the internal state, but also the material sphere. Jupiter, the celestial body symbolizing good fortune and broadening horizons, forms a conjunction, which in astrology is associated with financial success. Those who have traveled the thorny path of cleansing karma and freeing themselves from unnecessary attachments can safely enter a period of prosperity. Pisces has a unique opportunity to settle all financial issues, even those that previously seemed unsolvable. The square of Jupiter and Neptune has in the past indicated the need to get rid of false ideals. Now, after all the changes, there is triumph over ill-wishers, and the outside world begins to reflect the inner changes. The abandonment of outdated values and principles opens the way to success. It is not only about financial independence, but also about healing the mental wounds that were holding Pisces back. Freed from karmic debts, they can assert themselves in the material world. Those who have experienced the transformation will see how quickly and easily financial matters are resolved. The moment when there is no need to ask from life comes for those who previously felt insecure or dependent on others. Dear Pisces, the period of unprecedented prosperity and truly momentous opportunities will undoubtedly come, but only for those who will be able to overcome not just the trials associated with past mistakes and more complex life stages mentioned earlier, and, most importantly, who will be internally ready to open a new chapter of his life. One should not miss such a rare chance. It is necessary to be active and proactive, not to remain passive observers, waiting for favorable changes.